What that means is we need to look at things on a case-by-case, one-by-one basis, and what they could have done differently or better instead of demonizing. The Herbalife pyramid scheme. Is it a nutrition company or is it a scam? Well, I'm going to cover that in today's video, so make sure to watch it all the way to the end. And what is going to make this video different than the vast majority out there is I'm going to look at the anti-MLM and the pro-MLM side of the coin, so you get more objectivity and so you can come to your own conclusion, but more importantly, an accurate conclusion. So let's get started with an overview, then we'll go into the anti-MLM perspective, then the pro-MLM perspective, and then finish things up with a conclusion. So the overview of Herbalife is that it was founded in 1980 by Mark Hughes, and it's headquartered in Los Angeles, California. And Herbalife is a network marketing company that specializes in shake mixes, supplements, skin and hair care products. There are 3 ways to purchase the products, and that includes retail, wholesale as a customer, or wholesale as a distributor. Now let's get into the anti-MLM perspective. Hedge fund manager Bill Ackman of Pershing Square Capital claimed that Herbalife operated a sophisticated pyramid scheme. After taking a $1 billion, that's right, $1 billion short position in Herbalife stock, meaning he was betting on it going down in stock, which was in direct opposition to Carl Icahns' large investment in the company. In November of 2017, Ackman's hedge fund closed out its short position in Herbalife after the stock increased by 51% over the year. In another note, Herbalife agreed to fundamentally restructure its business and pay a $200 million fine. Woo. And partial refund checks to some 350,000 plus distributors as a part of a 2016 settlement with the U.S. Federal Trade Commission following accusations of it being a pyramid scheme. So that kind of happened first, and then Ackman was maybe like, I might be able to profit off this, so let me bet another $1 billion on top of that. I mean, you just got money just like that. I mean, hook a brother up. Now let's talk about the top 5 arguments that are brought up with regards to Herbalife being a pyramid scheme. And number 1 is that it's a cult. Number 2, that there are overhyped or overpriced product claims made by distributors or even customers. 1% of distributors make money. 99% of those distributors lose money. And then finally, it's a pyramid scheme or it's an MLM scam. So those are the top 5 arguments that are mentioned and I hear on my channel or other YouTube videos. And now let's look at the pro-MLM perspective so we can gain that objectivity, or at least more of it. According to Herbalife's response website, conceived and paid for by a New York hedge fund investor trying to make good on his own financial bet, Ackman, against a direct selling company, betting on zero, purports to tell the story of Bill Ackman's unprecedented, uninformed, and unimaginable billion-dollar bet against one of the largest direct selling companies in the world, Herbalife Nutrition. Now surpassing 4 years, Bill Ackman's attack on Herbalife Nutrition has been called everything from deplorable abuse to foolish to colossal hubristic quest for vindication. There's a lot of words of the day up in there. Alright, with that pro-MLM perspective established, let's talk about the reasonable response to the top 5 anti-MLM arguments. So when we look at the first one, which is, it's a cult, well, the question is, what people, products, or company in your own life are you a fan of and invest time and money into? Could somebody negatively categorize your affinity as a cult because they had an anti-whatever you love predisposition? That could be your love for your family. We going there. Soda, coffee, fast food, restaurants, vacations, and then specifically certain brands within those companies that may support that or whatever. So we have to think about all that. It could be the brand of your last name, as in the context of a family. But the point is, are we thinking like that, or are we just like, no, Herbalife is a scam and it's a pyramid scheme, period, lands, FTC definition, okay? And I'm like, well, hold on, we're gonna get to that. All right, so when we look at, the whole overpriced or overhyped claims, this is why it's important to review product descriptions and ingredients of that company for number one, FDA compliance, making sure there's no disease claims or references, and focusing more on function claims like supports respiratory system instead of something else that's not compliant that I won't say on camera. All right, number two is the benefits of that product. Number three is its uses and understanding those properly. And number four, the return policy. These are four things that should be understood before buying anything, and doing your own research with other brands for quality, price, and service are going to be absolutely critical. Is that done? A lot of times no, because we buy emotionally and then we justify rationally. We should try to, focus on this on the front end and do our own research and shop around so we can make an educated decision, but it doesn't happen. And then documentaries like Betting on Zero, that was on Netflix, comes out and and then I do videos like this. The number three argument that was mentioned was that whole, 1% of distributors make money. And the reasonable response to that is you need to review the compensation plan and income disclosure statement before signing anything. Plus understand why financial success happens for distributors with the top 5 factors, which are your skills, your goals, your effort, the quantity and quality of your network, and your lead generation system. Are those mentioned in the anti-MLM argument? No. Are they mentioned to what degree those factors are developed within an individual? No. Is personal responsibility for the individual's thoughts, words, and actions being taken in those areas? No. That's why I'm mentioning in this video, because it's not part of the discussion and it needs to be. The other anti-MLM argument is, well, okay, 99% of the other distributors lose money, Lance. Well, you need to compare that statement objectively with corporate positions. Okay, we're talking about the 9-to-5 cubicle jobs or the office jobs. Plus, you have to factor in college debt that it took to get there, or maybe certifications or other things like that. And the repayback period if you're accepted into college and how long it takes. Like, for example, if it costs $40,000 for a 4-year college, how long did it take to make that $40,000 after you graduated and assuming you got a job? And some people pay back their college loans in 3 to 5 years. Many people it's 10 to 20 years, and for some it may be never. Okay, so they never got a return on investment. And you have to think about, well, if they went to college to work at Starbucks, did they really need to go to college? The answer is no. But if they went to college to become an engineer or a doctor or nurse or something because that particular field mandates that they have a college education and additional schooling, then that makes sense. But you still have to look at that return on investment and repayback period, which is not part of the discussion, which is why I'm bringing it up now. We also need to look at franchises. What was their buy-in costs and repayback period if they even qualified for that franchise? Like, to get a franchise for Chipotle, I bring Chipotle up because I really like them. But like, how much money do you have to have in the bank? What do you have to have asset-wise? What's the likelihood of success? And how long is it going to take to make back all your money if they even accept you? There's a lot of stuff you have to factor in. That's not part of the discussion that this is a reasonable response for. And then lastly, looking at small business or startup costs. That includes the startup costs from angel investors or venture capitalists, plus the repayback period if you make enough money or if you don't make enough money and you run out of it. Like, what is the scenarios? What's the numbers on all that? And you may be like, Lance, those are different. Those are separate. Yes, but they're different, but they have similarities in that these are business ventures that earn money for you or potentially can earn money for you, but they're in different industries. And so we need to know our options. We need to research and shop around for those options, the pros and cons, and we need to make an educated decision before we sign or buy anything. And we're not doing that, which is why I'm doing videos like this. And then the last argument, which is, one of the most common ones, it's a pyramid scheme or it's an MLM scam, and the reasonable response is that we need to review the FTC or Federal Trade Commission's definition on products versus headcount for money info and company communications on the income opportunity and distributor product purchase amounts for individual use. We're going there. You may be like, dang, that's a lot. We need to do all that. Versus business inventory and return policy for business tools and products. So there is a lot of stuff that we need to research and do on the front end. You don't just get a job after college that required a college degree. You had to do a lot of tests, quizzes, homework, projects and stuff in order to graduate from college. It's similar, but not that degree, obviously, that you need to do your own research. Shop around so we can make educated decisions after we've come to accurate conclusions. What is the conclusion, by the way? All right, so let's get to that. Number one, Herbalife is not a pyramid scheme or MLM scam, according to the FTC definition and the fact that they've restructured their business and they're still in business, all right? And Carl Icahns is a huge icon of an investor who put a lot of money in them and has moved money in and out. I don't know where he's at now with the company, but you could research that. But you can interpret Herbalife as a pyramid scheme or MLM scam if you meet some of these 3 criteria. Number 1 is if you watch the Betting on Zero documentary or John Oliver's MLM YouTube video without being objective and reasonable. Objective means we look at the pros and cons of each argument so we can come to an accurate conclusion. Reasonable means we focus on the truth, seeking understanding, and finding solutions. Unreasonable means we're focusing on being right, winning, and focusing on the problem and blaming and shaming others. That's not the way to go. We don't want to be unreasonable, we want to be reasonable. There is going to be some subjectivity, meaning our own preferences, values, and beliefs are going to be factored into the conclusions we come to, but let's try to be more objective. That's my point. Even after watching stuff that has influenced us, as just like Betting on Zero or that John Oliver MLM YouTube video that's reached I don't know how many tens of millions of views. Number 2, you can view Herbalife as a pyramid scheme or MLM scam if you don't look at each lawsuit or complaint on a case-by-case basis for what the prospect and distributor could have done better from a discernment or communication standpoint. What that means is we need to look at things on a case-by-case, one-by-one basis and what they could have done differently or better instead of demonizing a person, product, or company because they don't fit your narrative of an anti-MLM argument. Okay, so that is very, very important. Not done enough. Number 3, you could view Herbalife as a pyramid scheme or MLM scam if you have an anti-MLM predisposition, which basically means that you discount opposing perspectives in advance because they don't agree with your values or your belief system, which is understandable. We all do that to some degree. It's just, it just depends on how often and if we're aware of that and if we're honest about that. I'm very aware of my authentic network marketing predisposition, which means I focus on companies that lead with powerful products, teaching and sharing, versus leading with business opportunity and recruiting and selling, which is more traditional network marketing. So I'm very predispositioned towards authentic network marketing, and that is something I value tremendously. And Eric Ward talks about you should only lead with a business opportunity if you know somebody really well and you know they're looking for a business opportunity. So that requires pre-qualification questions, understanding their needs and goals. It's more than just, here, do this, because you'll be great and you'll make this much money. It's like, no, we need to follow the things we mentioned earlier. Compensation plan review, income disclosure statement review, understanding people better. Otherwise, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you did, share this video with somebody that would benefit from it, and most importantly, check out those links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on, and I will see you in the next video.